Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. If you are new here and you enjoy fitness and health related videos and story times, go ahead and subscribe to my channel and then click that little bell icon while you're at it so you get notified every time I post, which is several times a week. Today I have for you a stretch and a story time. Story time today is going to be about how I got started into yoga. So let's just go ahead and jump right into it. So we're going to start in a forward fold. Bend the knees deeply and then just allow yourself to drape over. You can find some movement here. You can be still. We'll be spending some time here, so no worries either way. I just want to start by saying I recorded a different story time before this one, and I just didn't feel quite right about it, so I'm going to leave that one for later. But today, I'm going to talk about how, like I've already said, how I got started into yoga. So a little bit of a preface is that I did yoga when I was probably in ninth grade or something like that with my mom. We went to a Sunday morning yoga class every Sunday, and it was taught by this guy. He was honestly really good, and we kind of treated it like church. Like that was our religious Sunday morning ceremony. Let's go ahead and plant down through the right foot, send the left leg back, and just come into a lunge. Let's keep that back knee lifted for a little while, and then you can start to settle it down once you feel ready. But just take a few movements here, front and back. And so I'd had a little bit of previous experience just with my mom, but I did stop for a long time. I mean, this is because of school, various reasons, but basically I just didn't keep up with it, and not so big of a deal. But around the time when I was 18, also another preface, we can just let that back knee settle down. Around the time that I was 18, I was having a lot of troubles. I was going to this school where it was basically you went for 4 hours and you did your schoolwork, and then once you were done, you could leave. And I wasn't even showing up to that. I had my mom sign out a release form so that I could do all my schoolwork basically at home because I was having just a lot of problems. I mean, it wasn't that I didn't have friends, but for some reason, I felt like I didn't have friends. I kind of felt like no one liked me, and that was all kind of internal, just my own thought about how I didn't like myself, and it just kind of trickled over into all of my personal relationships. So even if people told me that we were really good friends and da-da-da-da, I would kind of doubt them and believe that they were lying, which is a really kind of messed up head state to be in, especially as a teenager in the school. I'm about to graduate, go to college and everything, and I was not having it. I was not in a great place. Let's go ahead, tuck the back toe, lift the back knee. Let's just step the back foot in, straighten out both legs. You could use a block. You could use your leg as a prop. Whatever you find here, we're just going to bow forward. So either way, I'm not doing good. A little bit about me is that not only was I having a lot of these social issues, but I was also, I was using substances to help me through this, and that definitely wasn't actually helping in any way. I do believe in plant medicine and everything like that, especially now, but I believe in it in a very moderate and considerate way. So when you're doing things simply to numb out your experience of life, that's probably not very healthy. And that's kind of what I was doing at that point. Let's go ahead and step the left foot in. So we're back in the forward fold. So I turn 18 and everything. I have all this freedom, and instead of rebelling against my parents, I had when I was 16, 17, I guess I kind of really stepped back, and I started to kind of really appreciate my parents a lot more. And once again, even though I wasn't necessarily doing bad things at that point, once I turned 18, I still wasn't happy, if that makes sense. Go ahead and step back your right leg now. Stay in this lunge. Keep the knee lifted for the first little bit. So I'm still not happy. I'm going through school and everything, but it's just, nothing's really coming together like I want it to. And there eventually was a point where I thought that I wouldn't even graduate because of this stupid math class that I just kept on procrastinating. Go ahead and set down that right knee, and then we'll just open up the chest here. So my mom comes up to me, actually, I'm at her work, and she says something along the lines of, oh, do you want to try Infusion, which is our local yoga studio. I used to go there when I was a kid, when I was in ninth grade and everything. And she asks if I want to go because they have 2 weeks for free, essentially, like a 2-week free program. And at first I'm like, ugh, whatever, and then I just kind of get into the headspace and I'm like, okay, yeah, I want to go. And so we sign up. I sign up for one day. I go to the class. I think it's like a yin yoga class. I wind up loving it. And then because of that, I'm like, Mom, let's do like a 2-week yoga retreat because I have 2 weeks free of yoga. So I sign up for yoga every single day for 2 weeks, sometimes 2 classes a day. Like I would take a beginner's yoga class and then like a yoga for sleep. So there weren't like intense classes, but sometimes 2 a day. And what wound up happening, let's go ahead, tuck the back toe, let's step that in. Both legs come to straight, and then once again, you can use your thigh as a prop, you can use the ground as a prop, you can just wiggle the hips forward and back and try to drape your spine over. So I take these 2 weeks of yoga, and literally I become addicted. I beg my mom to just buy me a pass, and she agrees. And honestly, I think that she agreed because, first of all, we were doing it together. She loved it. It was really cute, honestly, in a lot of the situations. I was really embarrassed by my mom. Of course, I'm a teenager, so I was embarrassed by my mom at that point. But we did have these moments in yoga class. Like a lot of times, during Shavasana, she would reach out and hold my hand. And normally, I would have been like, oh my God, you're my mother, stop doing that. But for some reason, I just didn't care. And it was just like this really cute thing that we had together. And at a certain point, I started going to classes without her just because I started advancing my practice. And, she's just my mom. So, just a little bit of an older body. So she didn't necessarily want to do like power flow yoga, which I totally get. But either way, we started together. Let's go ahead, step in, and then drape over. And it seemed like once I started doing this yoga practice, like my whole life changed. We're going to plant our hands down and just step back into hands and knees. Just do a few cat-cows here with the breath. Inhale to open up through the spine. Exhale to round. And just use your breath to guide you. So a lot of things changed in my life. First of all, my mom and I repaired our relationship. I held probably a lot of animosity towards my mother, especially as a teenager. And it wasn't necessarily that she was doing much wrong. Go ahead and extend your right leg, pull your left leg in, and then just cross it over. And you can take that right knee in towards the glute. Doesn't really matter. I'm going to just spin around so I can see you. So we're just going to come in here. Inhale, right arm lifts up, and then exhale, twist. Very good. So first of all, my mom and I, we repaired our relationship. Once again, I held a lot of animosity towards my mother for various reasons. I kind of blamed her for a lot of the issues that I had growing up, even though now I can realize that most of it was my fault. So I'm going to at least say most of it. But, that relationship was very important to me. And so it was really nice when we start to rebuild that connection in a healthy way, not based on me trying to progress in my life or mentally, emotionally, whatever. It was just, a relationship. It was just something fun that we could do together. Let's go ahead and switch sides. I'm going to come back. So now left leg comes out, right leg comes in, crosses over. You can take your left knee in or your left sole of your foot towards your glute. Doesn't really matter, or you can leave it lifted or extended. Inhale, left arm reaches up, and then exhale, twist. Right hand trickles behind you. So that happened. Second of all, my skin cleared up. I was having a lot of issues with acne, as teenagers do. So I think it was a combination of yoga, of always taking a shower after I practiced, and of generally starting to eat healthier. This wasn't a conscious choice of mine. It's just things that were a little bit healthier started to sound good to me, like guacamole and avocado and stuff. Before that point, I could not stand vegetables. Like, honestly, I could not stand vegetables. I would eat fruits every once in a while, but mostly I was eating a lot of junk food. A lot of meat stuff like chicken and, like chicken strips kind of things. But I slowly and without really conscious thought started to become vegetarian. And I want to attribute this to starting practicing yoga, but really it was just a natural life choice and change. Okay, let's go ahead, release that. Send both of our legs forward. Give yourself a little wiggle. Let's take our left leg in, and then we're just gonna cross it over. Hold onto your left foot, and then we're just gonna let it bounce. I'll switch so you can see a little bit better. We're just gonna let this bounce. So, that changed. I got a job. So before I was broke and, not doing so well. And nothing really was like passionate for me. So I got this job at Tivana. And I don't know if I mentioned this before, but this was like my first good job. Like, I would consider it a good job. I mean, it was only like $8.50 an hour. I wasn't getting paid much, but I was getting commission. And to me, that was a lot of money. So I felt good about that. Let's go ahead, take our hands behind us, and then just bend the left knee. Take the right foot, or take the right shin closer towards the chest. Keep this foot flexed so that we can protect the knee. You can find a little bit of movement if that feels good. So I found this job. Great, good. I was kind of dating this guy at the time, and honestly, just serendipity happened. He gave me tickets to this concert. He wound up not going. Yeah. And then I wound up meeting this guy there who eventually became my husband. So, yeah, it felt like a lot of things in my life were coming together. Let's go ahead, just extend the right leg, and then left leg crosses over. Just hold onto the foot, keep it flexed, and then we'll just bounce that knee. So honestly, I attribute a lot of my life now to yoga. It was a way that my husband and I, my current husband, he wasn't my husband at the time, the way that we really bonded. I told him I was into crystals. I told him I did yoga basically religiously, and he asked if I could come over. We could do like yoga sessions together, and I was down for it. We had this contest once to see whose hair would touch the ground first in a forward fold. My hair touched first, but I don't think because it was long enough. It was just because I became more flexible faster. But either way, it was just one of those things one of those decisions that really changed my life for the better, and I'm eternally grateful. My practice now is completely different than when I started, but I'm okay with that. And, I'm just glad that I've kept it up, because I've seen these amazing shifts in my physical body, but I've also seen these amazing shifts in my emotions, in my mental state. I don't know if I was clear at the beginning, but I was not doing well. I hate to say this, but I was on the road to really doing something bad and dramatic, to just change what was going on in my life. It was just a crazy time. And honestly, I'm just so grateful that I even took the initiative or even thought to go to yoga class, and take that time for myself. Let's go ahead, extend the left leg, set it down, and let's just gather both of our knees together. And we'll call that good. So, once again, if you like this little storyline, it wasn't much of a story time, but it was something about me. Just go ahead and give this a like, comment down below, anything that you would like to comment down below. And thank you once again for sticking with me, for stretching, and all of that good stuff. I hope to see you here again. Namaste.